I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. I am your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And of course, back with me on a lovely Wednesday afternoon, not my fault this time, is Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell.
Yeah, it's totally my fault. A couple days to go hunting. I didn't get anything. I saw a couple. I got some good stories out of it, if nothing else. There was a couple little deer, a little doe that was about the size of my brother's dog, and then a little buck that looked like he had plastic knives sticking up out of his head, just a little spike. And I heard something behind me, and I turned around, and I mean, they're me to the chair, standing there like looking at me, eyeballing me, trying to figure out what I was. It's like, just go away. And so they wandered off back into the woods and come back out into the field in front of me. And both of them are just staring at me the whole time as they're walking across the field. And the little doe faced straight at me and started stamping her foot and trying to get me to move or do something. And I just sat there perfectly still. And they finally lost interest and ran off. And then a big doe came out behind them a little bit later. And as soon as she saw me, she snorted and turned tail and ran. She did not care to see if I would react to her, which is probably good on her part because she was nice. I'd have shot that bitch in a second. That was
good eating.
Yeah, that one would have been good. And then there was a decent-sized buck came out about 15, 20 minutes later, and he never really would get at a good angle where I have a good shot at him. I took a shot anyway, and I didn't feel super confident about it when I took it, but I thought this is probably going to be the best shot I get. So I tried. I missed. It's all right. He kind of loafed off, and I followed where he went to make sure I didn't hit him, and he was just running it off. And he did not. He was gone, so didn't get anything, but it was all right. It was good hunting, and I got to spend time with my mom and dad and kind of hang out. And that's I think as I've gotten older, because Sean's going to go down and go hunting this weekend, and Sean will get something, like almost guaranteed. He's an absolute crack shot and has just ridiculously stupid luck. So I wasn't too worried about it. It was more about getting some time to hang out with my parents and sit in the woods and just relax and not have to deal with life for a few days. So it was nice. I enjoyed it, even though I didn't get anything.
Right on. Well, I know you were really concerned about this. It's been keeping you up at night. All the people starving from their SNAP benefits being put on hold for all of 12 days. But all indications are there's going to be a vote tonight around 7 o'clock to reopen the government. Thank God.
Oh, yay. If they didn't reopen the government, how would all these people receiving SNAP benefits be able to afford to get their nails done?
This is having massive impact. I went and got my eyebrows done the other day, and my eyebrow technician was like, they're going to fire 2 technicians from here because all of our clients don't have money to come. She's not on SNAP. This is having massive impact.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How are we ever going to survive if the people on SNAP can't afford to get their eyebrows done?
Yeah, people don't seem to understand that like money is fungible. And yeah, if they don't have to spend a couple $100 a month on food, that frees up a couple $100 a month for them to get their fucking hair did or their nails done, or like that one broad that did we talk about her that was going to concerts and everything, complaining about her box of food? Yeah.
Yeah, her entire Instagram feed was nothing but concerts, but she was complaining about the food that she was getting while her Snap was shut off.
Exactly. Yeah. Can you pull up that Zero Hedge article about the shutdown?
This summarizes why Snap is a problem all on its own. We live in a society where people use a $1,400 phone to check their food stamp balance. Like, this is what this is what like me and you and other like normal sane people have a problem with. It's not that we have a problem with these people getting Snap. If people actually need EBT and Snap and like they sincerely need help, I have no problem with people getting help that need it. That's the fact that the people who are getting help, especially the ones who are on Twitter and TikTok crying about it, are like they're going to concerts every weekend. They get a brand new iPhone every time a new one drops. They drive Escalades and everything. It's like, why are we funding this bullshit?
We're funding very poor life decisions, and life and financial decisions, behavior. Like, dude, if money is tight, you don't get the $1,400 iPhone. And the only way they can afford that is they give them a monthly payment, right? They're essentially renting the phone until the next one comes out, and they just keep rolling that over. When you can buy a perfectly fine smartphone for a few $100, a couple $100, and you've got one. I just happen to hate the iPhone, so I never actually buy that. But my phone was like $700-800, and it like the specs on my phone are better than anything the iPhone has. It's got more storage. It's got more RAM. It's faster, cheaper. I don't know. Maybe there's a few more megapixels or whatever in the iPhone camera. Oh, okay. Maybe you've got me there. I'm not even sure if that's true though. Like, there's a reason these people are on the dole, and it's not because they need to be. A lot of them, and of course, the historic shutdown is scheduled to end tonight by midnight. They're going to vote on this. It looks like the Democrats have caved on demanding that the ACA subsidies be reinstated. But again, dude, the most infuriating aspect of this, aside from how much Snap was exposed to just be an unnecessary fraud, I don't care what all these people making excuses for these scumbags that are taking, like, it's amazing. Like you said, we're fine with people getting benefit. I mean, I don't want it to be coerced charity by the government, but I believe that if you have the means, you have a moral obligation to help people that cannot help themselves. So it's not that I'm against charity. I'm against this shit. And the people that are making excuses for all these people taking advantage of the system call you and me, like heartless pieces of shit, right? Because we don't want this to continue. But apparently the people that don't need it, that are taking it from people that do, they're not scumbag pieces of shit. Like, the whole thing's ridiculous. And then, okay, so what's going to happen once the government is reinstated? Can you scroll up just a little bit? It's some of the first couple of bullet points, I think.
Yeah, it's
okay. All right, I thought maybe you passed it.
When it comes back in, or when the government shutdown officially ends, there will be a reinstatement of federal workers who were fired during the shutdown with guaranteed back pay, and it will prevent further layoffs through the end of January. It also excludes an extension of Obamacare, which Democrats caved on in the 11th hour. So, like, the big thing, they were really wanting all of this Obamacare stuff that they built in. Like, it was built in the way the Democrats designed Obamacare. This was all going to expire based on the way they designed it. So it all expired, and that's what they were like holding out for was, we need this Obamacare stuff. Well, they caved on that, and it'll go to a separate vote. The Republicans basically promised to hear them out on this, and it'll go to a vote, but it's not going to be included in this spending bill that the government reopening is contingent on. So that may or may not happen, but it's definitely not going to happen with this spending bill.
Yeah, and this will fund, quote unquote, the government until January 30th, I believe, right? Yeah. So another two more months, basically 2.5 months of funding this monstrosity. And all the poor workers that got laid off, they just got a fucking month and a half free fucking vacation, paid vacation. Didn't have to use any of their time off. Nobody got fucking furloughed. Nope. They got laid off and then they're automatically rehired with back pay. Like, dude, this is absolutely ridiculous. We're never going to get anywhere. They're talking about, like, look what Javier Milei did in Argentina. He eliminated entire fucking departments. And we can't even get rid of a little excess fat during a shutdown without immediately bringing it back and paying them for the month they just had off. 41 days or something? 42 days?
Yeah.
Okay. They're probably, I bet you all those fucking federal work, well, they probably won't even have to start until Monday, right? Like, what's the point of coming back to work on Thursday for one day, right? So they'll probably just give them until Monday to come back. You know, government's got to work through all the paperwork, blah, 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 blah. So they get a month and a half off, paid vacation. And we're supposed to be, again, dude, we're supposed to be freaking out over this shutdown. Why? Oh, flight disruptions because the TSA and the air traffic controller. Why are those government jobs? What the fuck, dude? Why is air traffic control a government job? It's like TSA. It's like, okay, I guess like that you could play the whole terrorist angle, like people trying to smuggle in dirty bombs or something. That may play well to the blue-pilled layman. But air traffic control, why is that even a thing? Why isn't that privatized? Like, this is just all ridiculous. Like, if it weren't for that, I don't think anybody that wasn't on the government dole wouldn't have been affected by this shutdown at all. And the longer it goes on, the more we realize that we don't need a lot of this, if any. Oh, God, this is, yeah. So we'll see what happens. The markets are kind of flat today. Gold and precious metals, gold and silver, are surging. Silver's up almost 4.5% right now. Well, back above 50, up to 53. Gold's at basically 4,200. I'm not sure exactly if there'll be a sell-off in those once they actually ink this deal to reopen the government. I don't know, but I still think they're going higher. I mean, the fucking government spending machine reopening is not going to, like, that's bullish for gold and silver. So maybe that's why they're surging, but they really haven't stopped spending at all during this thing. Cause this wasn't the debt ceiling shutdown. This was just legislative type of shutdown thing. It wasn't like they bumped up against the debt ceiling.
Yeah. The Democrats are mad that the Democrat senators caved on the ACA stuff and some other things, but I mean, there's nothing that they're not getting. And like we've talked about the problems with healthcare, and especially the problems with Obamacare or the ACA and what it has done to healthcare costs over the years and everything else. Like, it's been a net negative. What was it? New York Times or one of them wrote an entire article like 3 or 4 weeks ago about how the Affordable Care Act didn't actually make healthcare more affordable.
Imagine that.
They went into a whole breakdown of where it actually added costs. It's like, oh, wow, shocker. All the people that actually understand how this worked and were saying this whenever it was passed, now you're admitting that we were all completely right. And like the conspiracy theorists are completely undefeated over the last 5 years.
Yeah, and this is, of course, this is 15 years later. So, by the way, I just sent you a little thing. I think it's just a bunch of clips of Obama promising all these things that we all, like, you didn't have to be a genius to know that this was bullshit. You didn't have to really understand how the complicated healthcare and insurance system work to realize this is bullshit. It certainly helped a little bit if you have a couple brain cells to rub together, but also politicians lie.
This one especially.
It will actually reduce the deficit by $4 trillion over the long term. Reducing the waste and inefficiency in Medicare and Medicaid will pay for most of this plan. It will slow the growth of healthcare costs for our families, our businesses, and our government. There will be a provision in this plan that requires us to come forward with more spending cuts if the savings we promised don't materialize.
Okay. I'm waiting on, I don't remember any savings, so I'm waiting for these spending cuts. Haven't seen any, there's literally has not been a cut to spending in my lifetime. They've cut nothing. They've cut absolutely nothing. And yeah, it slowed the rate of growth in healthcare. I mean, we don't have to pull up the charts that we've already been showing the last couple of weeks on this show. You can go back and listen to those episodes or watch those episodes if you haven't already. But no, this accelerated everything. Everything that was wrong with the healthcare system, this exacerbated it, and is, you know, it's just pouring gasoline on fires. That's every time the government gets involved in something, this is what happens. And it's so obvious to see it. You don't even need to understand like the underlying issue at hand. You just have to understand how government functions and how the incentive structures are lined up. It will be like this Obamacare example is everything the government does. This just happens to be the one thing we're talking about right now. But if you pick any other fucking topic, it will look exactly like the charts will look exactly like the Obamacare charts. The politicians will be saying the exact same shit that Obama was saying to try to sell this to you. And they will be caught lying their ass off. They'll be at 180 degrees wrong about everything.
Well, and like talking about the incentive structure, we've talked about how the healthcare industry is literally the largest lobby in Washington, D.C. When you combine health, like the doctors or the hospitals and the hospital, the industrial hospital complex, because that's what it really is, and big pharma and the health and life insurance companies. When you lump all those together, they are the largest lobby in DC by far. It's not even fucking close. Like number 2 is not even close. Like anytime they talk about, oh, look how much money we spend on the military industrial complex. Like, yeah, but have you looked at the healthcare industry? Have you looked at the banking sector? Like, yeah, okay. I think, you know, the military industrial complex is like top 8. Like the other sectors that are dumping money into this, where you see legislation being directed, they're the ones that are really causing the problem. Like, yes, we need to cut a lot of defense spending. That's a huge thing. But when you look at what's actually causing all of the inflation, what's actually causing all of the prices and stuff to go higher on everything, it has nothing to do with the military industrial complex. It's not about military spending. It's about legislation that's being passed to cater to those top 3 or 4 big lobbies that are controlling everything, and they are being given all of the benefit of effectively a blank check at the government's dime, which means at mine and your dime. Yeah. And somebody just posted. I don't know, man. It just seems so hopeless. It seems so goddamn hopeless. People don't understand anything. They really don't understand anything. Well, and I don't think they want to, because if they actually understood, then they would realize just how fucked we really are with all of this shit. And then they might be like, oh, yeah, this is pretty bad. Maybe we should, I don't know, do something about it. Yeah. Again, and it's just,
can we just try like we've been doing the exact same thing over and over and over again. I mean, what every year now almost every year we have a government shutdown. This goes back to Obama day. Like, it's just like at least once during your 4-year term, there's going to be a shutdown because you're going to hit the debt ceiling.
Well, and at least with the Obama shutdowns, it was mostly driven by the Tea Party, who actually wanted to cut stuff. Now, obviously, that didn't pan out and it didn't last. The Tea Party kind of got absorbed into the GOP and they all became status quo. But at least initial and like, I had friends that were really excited about the Tea Party stuff. I was like, the problem is they don't have enough leverage and enough of a plan. Like, their plan for fixing a lot of this stuff was just slash and burn. It's like, yes, that would be ideal, but that's not the way this system works. And without an actual functional plan, they're just kicking the can down the road until they get overrun by everybody else who's not on board with that. And that ultimately, that's what we saw happen with the Tea Party. And then they got absorbed into the GOP. And like, now you've got Ted Cruz and all of the staples of the Tea Party are now just also rans of the GOP. So it's not like it accomplished anything, but at least those shutdowns, like, they were actually attempting to do something. They're just arguing over, like, they're not even trying to spend less money. They're just arguing over where the money gets spent.
Yeah. And the one thing we should be arguing over is how much to cut. And like, can we just try it? Can we just try it once? Try it in an area that doesn't matter. I'll let any of you retarded blue pill fucking Republicans and Democrats, you tell me the most the least effective, like the area of government spending that we could do without. Come up with it. We'll cut it completely. And when nothing happens, we can move on to the next one. Like, why aren't we doing it like that? Just like knocking over fucking dominoes. Can we just try it and see if the world ends? Because this is absolutely ridiculous. And people keep, we're the richest country and we got all, dude, we are over $38 trillion in just the bonded federal debt. That's just the stuff that they've actually issued bonds for. That does not include all of the promises they've made to the American people. That's in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. Ridiculous. The largest line item on the government's budget now is the interest on that debt. It's more than we spend on the military. It's more than we spend on Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. It's just going towards interest. Like, this is like the point of no return for the death spiral of a country. And like you said, if you just take those, like, defense, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, like those 4 things, that's the entire revenue that the government takes in. That's $4 trillion gone right there. Now you got to add in another $1 trillion in interest. So now we're $1 trillion in the hole, and they want to spend another $2 trillion on other bullshit.
I think it's 3, but yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Who can keep up at this point? Hey, you blink and they add another $500 billion into something.
Okay. You mentioned Social Security. What do you think? So Rand Paul had recently proposed that retirement age should be raised to 70. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, and I saw everyone was like yelling at Rand Paul. It's like, dude, don't shoot the messenger. The age has to be right. Like, if you want to keep this Ponzi scheme going, you have to do that. I would support doing that as like a first step into getting rid of Social Security altogether. But if you want any chance of getting it, and you're, our age in your 40s or 30, whatever, like, you have to do that. The original age of Social Security, well, it was 65, right? But like the average life expectancy was only 67.
Yeah.
At the time. So this was not meant for you to collect for fucking 15 or 20 years. This is supposed to get you to like through your deathbed and provide some, pay for your coffin essentially. So yeah, people are living a lot longer. What's the average age now? 78?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So yeah, it's like it just has to happen if you want to have any chance of this thing staying. I don't even want to say solvent because listen, everybody, the money's already gone. I saw somebody was complaining. It's like about Social Security. It's like, oh, George Bush borrowed like 1.3 trillion to fund like tax cuts for the rich or some bullshit. It's like, dude, that money's always been borrowed. Like that was not a unique situation. Like as soon as
here we go. So the retirement age for Social Security has literally always been 65. It was created in 1935. When it was created and the retirement age for Social Security was 65 years old, the life expectancy for men was 58 years, and for women it was 62 years. So like basically you had to outlive your expectation, and then you could, and it's like, okay, you beat the average, you get to draw Social Security now. Like, and then average life expectancy by the early to mid 40s had bumped up to 65 years for men and 70 years for women. And it's continued to go up over the years. And yet,
so it's even worse than I thought.
Yeah. So, and yet the cutoff or the eligibility age for Social Security has not changed at all.
Yeah. But the percentage that we pay into it has.
Right.
When it first started, it was 1% from you and 1% from your employer. And self-employed, if you worked for yourself, you were exempt from it. And so that's 2% for every all intents and purposes. Your employer just builds that into the cost of hiring you. So you were paying 2%, and now it's fucking 7.5%, I think, from you and 7.5% from your employer. So it's 15%. And self-employed are not exempt.
Why can't self-employed aren't exempt? Why can't we opt out? Like, hey, look, I don't want to pay into this. I'll handle my own retirement, and I'll retire whenever the fuck I want at 45 years old if that's what I so choose to do. This guy, why can't we just opt out and be like, all right, I'm gonna keep that. My employer gets to keep that as well. They can do with it whatever the fuck they want, or if I have my own retirement fund that I'm doing, they can put that into my retirement fund. It's whatever. If they don't want to do that, it's their money. Whatever, fuck off. But like, let me keep my money, put it in my own retirement fund, and then I decide when I retire. I'm not like at the, and again, like that's for the individual, you're taking on a certain level of risk. Like, okay, if you retire, now you have to decide, what you're going to do about insurance or health insurance and life insurance and all of that stuff. But like the job of the government is not to eliminate risk for the individual. Like, everybody has to determine what level of risk they're comfortable with, and that's how you choose to live your life. It's not the government's job to just come in and be like, okay, we're going to make sure that you never have any risk at all. Because even in doing that, they're not taking away they're not taking away the risk.
Yeah. They're making it harder for you to achieve retirement on your own.
Right.
I mean, I know I've gone over some of these numbers, just the ROI you get on Social Security, assuming you have to live to like 70, maybe it's 70, maybe that's why I had that number in my mind, but you have to live to like 78 or something to actually break even on your investment in Social Security. And it, like, dude, if you could just imagine every fucking dollar that you've paid into Social Security, you just threw it into a fucking S&P 500 index fund from age 15 to age 65, it'd be millions of dollars, dude, millions. And you'll maybe get like a couple $100,000. And the other thing I saw the other day when this whole rant thing was going on is that the vast majority of like people on Social Security, well, I don't know if it's the vast majority, a lot of them they don't even draw down on their entire benefits. Like, they're not even taking they're not like spending their full benefits. It's subsidizing their lifestyle. It's keeping them in houses that are probably too big that they don't really need. It's instead of them having to dip into their savings in the final years of their lives, it's preserving that. This is a subsidy. I mean, this is like, again, you're taking money from young, poor people and giving it to rich, old people. It's a stupid idea. It's a terrible system. It breeds dependency. And like I've pointed out so many times, like dependency. It's like, dude, they control you. This is how they gain control. Like, look at the situation they've put people in. So now that they've got you by the balls after 65, because every fucking month you have to go back to them to get your stipend. Apparently they got 42 million people by the balls just to eat every week. This is like, they've got you. And then, okay, now your health insurance premiums. Oh, you want to be able to see the doctor without paying fucking $10,000? Well, you better vote for me. You better vote for this Obamacare stuff.
And here's the fun part. You're going to pay that anyway.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you would be so much better off without them doing all this stuff. And it's literally just meant to control you. I don't understand how people can't at least just entertain that as a possible motive for some of the big, like, especially when it's a politician. It's like Donald Trump. Like, how many people that have been begging to reopen the government were marching the week before it closed down about not having a king? Like, the memes have been hilarious. You know, it's like, oh, no kings, but oh, please, king, may I have another fucking bowl of porridge? This is ridiculous. You at least think that the people that hate Donald Trump could see that the government is using these things to control you. And then you think, like, when Biden's in control, like, all these Republicans be like, oh yeah, the government's just using this to fucking control me. But somehow they just think, oh, but if I get my team in, then it won't be used to control me. It'll be used to, like, do all the things that I want. No, they're both raping you. One's just using a little more lube than the other one.
Which one?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, dude. Oh, the other thing. Oh, shit. I forgot to send you some stuff that Donald. So the stimulus checks. The $2,000 stimulus checks from the tariffs and the 50-year stimmies and the 50-year mortgages.
Oh, did you say? And the 15-year auto loans.
15 years for a car?
Yeah,
dude. These are the last, like, these are the dead cat bounces of a fucking broke ass nation. We are fucking, so, I mean, first of all, the $2,000 stimmy check from the tariffs. He's just paying you back a portion of your own money that he stole from you in tariff. Like, how about you just don't put the tariffs in place to begin with, and then you don't have to give us back a portion of the money. And it sounds like the courts are ruling that, yeah, it turns out the president can't just enact taxes unilaterally, which is what the tariffs are. So the whole thing's going to be illegal anyway, voted illegal by the court system. But it's too late. He's already collected a couple $100 billion, maybe. Was it 200 something billion in tariffs so far?
Here you go. A Yale budget analysis showed that tariffs cost the U.S. household around $1,800 per year.
There you go. Okay, so you're getting your money back.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so ridiculous. And then it's like, oh yeah, people can't afford houses at a 30-year mortgage, which the 30-year mortgage was also just a government thing that they kind of created. And so we'll raise it to 50, so that will lower their monthly payments to make it affordable. Every time you hear the government say affordable, what you have to envision is that they're going to make it easier for you to go into debt to overpay for whatever that thing is. Just at the most basic level, like, just even forget how much more interest you're going to pay on a 50-year mortgage. I haven't looked at the amortization tables on a 50-year mortgage, but I imagine at least the first 15 years is going to be 100% interest.
If you carried that mortgage all the way to the end of its term, you basically double how much you would pay for almost anything. Like, obviously purchase price dependent, but on average it's 2/3 or it's in a lot of cases it's 2 times as much, and some it's like 1.5 times as much. Like, you are paying so much more over the life of that. And yeah, I mean, and so people are making the argument, oh well, some people, this would actually be good for some people who can't afford that extra $400 to $600 a month that the 30-year mortgage would cost them. It's like, yeah. Or there's also the argument that's been made, well, people aren't buying these as like they're for the rest of their life home. They're gonna sell it down the road, or if they are, they're going to refinance. It's like, okay, how many people are actually doing that? Like, how many are actually?
Yeah, well, I mean, the average,
and the ones that are going to sell it, okay, your principal amount is, you're not going to be paying anything on it. So when you go to sell it, like, you have to sell it for well above what you bought it for. Otherwise, you don't make any money. In fact, you're probably, if you're buying a house on a 50-year fucking mortgage and you're selling it 5 years down the road, you might very well be losing money.
Yeah. Well, and so the average life of like a 30-year mortgage, I think, is only like 8 to 12 years or something like that, which is why it's always based on the 10-year rate when they give you the mortgage. It's not based on the 30-year. But dude, all that's going to happen is it's like, yeah, it'll lower your monthly payment by like a couple $100, but the prices of the houses will just adjust higher to whatever your monthly payment that you can afford. The prices will adjust up to that with these kinds of subs. So it's like, yeah, if you can't afford it at 30, we'll raise it to a 50. Now housing prices just go up by that much more, by whatever you can afford. So that it's not going to make anything more affordable. It's just going to make it easier for you to go into debt to pay for it. And you're going to be paying a shitload. Of course, the banks are going to love it because they get more and more interest. That's all they want. That's why they want you to constantly refi. They don't want you paying down the principal. They want to just keep collecting that interest payment. And I mean, dude, other countries, like, if they do finance houses like this, it's like a 5 to 7 year adjustable rate, which makes sense. Like, who's going to loan you money for 50 years at a fixed rate? Nobody. No real bank is going to do that unless they know that they got the government backstopping them.
And that's exactly
they can predict interest rates for like a couple of years, and then, oh shit, like, we got to make an adjustment now because it's much higher or much lower. So,
I mean, I know it's been like 20 years ago, but did everybody just completely forget Freddie Mae and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and like everything that led up to the 2008, housing bubble and financial crisis that we went into? Like, this kind of stuff where banks were giving loans that they never should have had any business giving to people who had no business taking or getting these loans. Yeah. We are recreating the exact same environment all over again, just with a couple different little twists to it. But it's like history. The people who say, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. This is the rhyme. Like, it sounds a lot like what we just saw literally 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want, if you want the price of things to actually come down, if you want housing to become affordable, you don't just make 50-year mortgages and then they'll have to make 100-year mortgages when nobody can afford that. You get the government out of the housing industry 100%. You get them out of there. And then you get rid of all these fucking ridiculous zoning regulations and building codes that are just written by I guarantee you these building codes are just written by like companies that lobby fucking Congress. It's not like your congressman is in there, studying how this house needs to be built in order to be structurally sound or something like that. No, it's the companies that sell the materials. They're writing the legislation. It's like, oh yeah, you got to use our fucking thingamajig in that house. Otherwise it's not up to code. Like, if you get rid of these zoning laws, and I know it sounds really counterintuitive to the blue-pilled layman, because it's like, oh, we'll just have like skyscrapers shoot up in like some residential neighborhood. It's like, I highly doubt it. But that's the reason you need to increase the supply if you want the price to go down. And everything the government does restricts supply. Everything. This is basic stuff. So yeah, every time the government tries to get involved to make something affordable, it's going to be less affordable than ever before. See housing, see healthcare, pick a topic. Pick a sector. Them lowering the lending standards so that you can go into debt to overpay for something is not affordable. They bastardize the definitions of all these rules, all these words. A 50-year mortgage would be fucking ridiculous.
Well, I mean, talking about,
car loan. Oh my God, dude, cars don't even appreciate in value. At least you got a chance at your house going up in value. A fucking car loan for 15 years.
Well, I'm talking about, the possibility of a 100-year mortgage at some point. I mean, there's some researcher at the University of Chicago of Illinois at Chicago that says that we could live to 150. So, I mean, this could be a real thing. Like you can go take out a 100-year mortgage at 40 years old and live to see the end of it.
Oh God. Imagine just how retarded we're going to be in 150 years.
So I saw that posted and somebody said, imagine being a Cleveland Browns fan and living to 150 and seeing your team on its 38th rebuild.
Oh man. And just dude, just listening to fucking AOC for 100 years. Because they're not Nancy Pelosi's retiring at 85? It's
right.
All right, AOC retiring at 143. It's Jesus Christ. Had to listen to these retards just fuck everything up for a century. A century. And people still haven't caught on to how this is the biggest goddamn scam of all time. How many more times? It's like Charlie Brown and Lucy with the fucking football every single time. And you can still get people to believe it. It boggles my mind. And I wonder if old people actually believe it, or they're just at that point, you're so old and they've trapped you in the dependency. So it's like, oh yeah, you can't take away my Social Security. You can't take away my Medicare. I don't know if I mean, imagine being 60, 70 years old and you still haven't figured this out yet. And you still haven't figured out that these are just snake oil salesmen bilking the entire country.
Well, and that's a crazy thing is imagine being 60, 70 years old and relying on the government for everything. There are people that seriously are still paying off a 30-year fucking mortgage after they've retired. What have you done with your fucking life?
Yeah, you do not play the game very well. And by the way, after you pay off the mortgage, you still have your property taxes. So who really, who owns this house? Who owns that so essentially the government just owns every house in America. Every single one. Every house, every building, every condo, everything. The government owns 100% of the real estate. It was such a failure of capitalism to all you fucking socialists on Twitter. What a failure. I mean, this is ridiculous, dude. Even after you fucking pay off your 30-year mortgage or your 100 or your 50-year mortgage, if we go down that route, you still have to pay property taxes in perpetuity to your government landlord, or they'll take the house away from you.
Well, and you were talking about, at least there's the chance that your property will appreciate in value. I know you don't live in the States, so you don't see this stuff. If you look at property values or not values, but what people are asking on stuff, it's fucking insane. And there's no realistic expectation. It's just, line goes up. So people just keep asking more and more for stuff. There's a piece of property that I'd looked at back home that's been up for sale for a year and a half, and they're asking $50,000. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's not tillable farmland. There's nothing of value to this, and they're asking $50,000. I sent the owner a message. I was like, I'll give you $25,000 cash, and she's like, it has 3 septics and a 20 by 40 concrete slab and a root cellar and this and this and this. I was like, you do realize all of that just depreciates the value based on where you are, because all of that now makes it non-tillable farmland. You can't farm that because it has the septic, it has the slab, it has the cellar. You also have 3 dilapidated trailers that would cost more to destroy and clean out than what they're actually worth. It's why do you think that your property is worth $50,000? My dad has been one of the top 5 rated appraisers for the state of Kentucky and Tennessee for the last 30 years. He said when I told him that I was going to send the owner a message and tell her I'd give her $25K cash for it, he said that's about $10,000 too much. It's like, I'm aware, but she's asking fucking 50. He was like, nobody's going to bid on. I said, I know nobody's going to offer that. It's like, I'll come back a year from now and I'll ask her and I'll offer her 25,000 again. And like, cause it's not going to sell. Like, people just have this unrealistic expectation of what stuff is worth because line go up and that's it.
Right.
Like,
right. And again, like, yeah, I mean, to an extent, like there's only so much land you can build on. Like, okay, I get that. But these, with every passing year, all that shit gets 1 year older and it's going to require more. Like, why does a house that's like 150 years old worth more than that house was when it was only 100 years old?
Right.
And I mean, a lot of it has to do with all these subsidies and the government involvement that is artificially keeping prices up. Why do they do that? Well,
banking lobby. They're like I think real estate. I think the real estate lobby is the banking lobby. So pharmaceuticals and healthcare is number 1. The banking lobby is number 2. And then like real estate is number 3. Why does everything keep going up? I don't know. Maybe because the people who have a vested interest in that stuff going up are dumping money into the government to make sure that the government is doing stuff like 50-year fucking mortgages and manipulating interest rates and stuff so that they can just keep making more money.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it's not like the Americans don't like it along the way too. It's like, yeah, you live in a house for 10, 15 years and you get to sell it for 30% more than you paid for it. And meanwhile, you can borrow against it, right? If you have equity in the house, you can take out a HELOC or something like that and borrow against the asset and spend that money on some bullshit. It's just the whole, dude, it's just such a house of cards. It's crazy, man. Everywhere you look is just this ridiculously unstable market that the government has created. And the whole thing can just go up in flames at the drop of a dime. It's all ridiculous. It's all just fucking ridiculous, dude. And nobody in government is taking it seriously at all.
Did you see that thing I sent you? I don't know, a week or so ago. This was November 6th. It said that we are finally. Today is the first day the Bank of America stock is fully recovered from the global financial crisis from 19 years ago, a 19-year recovery. So, and the post that I sent you said they're about to do the funniest thing because like here we are, 19, 20 years later, the Bank of America has finally recovered from where it was when the financial crisis started, and we're probably getting pretty close to hitting round 2 of that. So
yeah, get ready for the ride down. I mean, yeah, banking stocks. I mean, all of these banks, they fail every single fucking stress test that are given. They just like stop giving them real stress tests because they know they won't pass them. They're all holding this. They're holding these. Like, how many of these banks have just a ton of these 30-year mortgages at 2.5% or something? Like, they got all this paper on their balance sheet that's worth dick. This is, yeah. I mean, there's not really one area where you can kind of look to and be like, oh, there's some light at the end of the tunnel. I know a lot of people will point to AI. Again, dude, AI will be a great thing. I don't know if even AI can save us at this point, especially because the government's going to step in and fuck it up. They're going to start with a UBI or some other fucking horse shit and regulations to stifle everything. They are. It's just so frustrating because there is so much potential. There's so much potential in the country to do great things.
Well, and talking about all that potential, you got AI, and then you've got stuff like Bitcoin and all of the other cryptos and stuff, and the stifling of that potential. You've got this one that you sent. Coinbase is leaving Delaware for greener pastures in Texas as the exodus continues. So like a lot of companies and stuff that are located in either big liberal cities or especially in the Northeast, in New York, Delaware, Connecticut, up there, the regulations and the taxes that they're having to pay are driving all of these big corporations to leave where they have been headquartered and move to Texas and Tennessee and like more business friendly states that don't have all the regulation, that don't have all the taxes, that aren't making life an absolute fucking nightmare for them at every turn.
Yeah. And again, it's just so obvious to see that, which is again why you have to break up at this point. Like there's no reason to have this the United States as it is right now. I mean, it resembles nothing of what it started out as and what was supposed to be. We are so far past that. It's failed. It was a great idea. Maybe just a couple of different tweaks in those clauses for how you're going to stop the government from just becoming this Leviathan, but it didn't work. The Constitution did not chain down the government. The government broke free, and they are running amok like fucking crazy, absolutely fucking crazy. And it's just watching people get angry at, I mean, I don't know what your X feed looks like, but it's just like, oh yeah, we need to tax the rich, and the billionaires and the millionaires need to pay their fair share, and like trickle down. That never worked. But the government has been siphoning all of the wealth. That's where it's been going. And this is demonstrably obvious. If you just look at the top 10 richest counties in the country, like 7 or 8 of them are in like Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Or the
why?
Area. Yeah.
Why is that? They don't fucking produce anything. It's just a bunch of goddamn lawyers and politicians are all just fucking lawyers. Like they have been siphoning everything from they just keep taking it. And then, yeah, sure, they send some overseas. They send some to fucking Zelensky. And
you want to talk about that?
Yeah, let me just finish this. But that's where the disruption in the so-called trickle down theory is. It's the government has just created this alternate pipeline to siphon all of the wealth from the country and pipeline it into themselves and into things that they have. And yes, if you own assets, if you own stock in real estate, you're going to ride the wave, because that's also where the government is. It's also where everybody that's funding the government and involved in the government, they all benefit from those things going up. So if you have them as well, you will ride that wave. That will trickle down. You will catch the ride with, it's like the government's kind of like a shark, and they have those little pilot fish or whatever that kind of hang off the shark and catch all the little bits of food that fall out of its mouth. The government's the shark that's eating everything. And if you can hitch a ride with them and catch some fucking scraps along the way, it's like, yeah, you'll do all right. But if not, you're the one that they're fucking eating. And then you get mad at the pilot fish for catching some fucking scraps along the way. It's like, no, dude, get mad at the fucking shark. And yes, it turns out the whole Ukraine fucking thing was one big circle jerk money pump. Here you go.
Western media begins damage control after a $100 million corruption scandal rocks Ukraine. It's absolutely unacceptable that amid all this, there are also some schemes in the energy sector. Oh my God, no, not the energy sector. What? Biden and his son weren't actively involved in that. Every fucking Democrat politician didn't have a kid or a niece or a nephew involved in the Ukrainian energy sector for 10 fucking years from 2008 going forward. Oh no, never would have seen this coming. Didn't we talk about how like NATO would never give Ukraine a sniff at joining because it was known as the most corrupt country in all of fucking Europe. Like, whoever would have expected corruption out of Ukraine? They were only literally the most corrupt country on the fucking planet for, I don't know, like 50 years.
Yeah, dude, it's so fucking like, and all of those pussies out there that have been carrying water for Ukraine, the Ukraine flag and their profile, and I'm happy to pay more for gas as long as this little girl gets to stay free from. It's all bullshit. Look at them. What did we send them? 200 million. So half of it just line pockets of their politicians and they're politically connected that we know of. It's probably more. Idiots. And he comes into, wearing his little, I'm a man of the people. I'm still wearing my fatigues and everything. Get the fuck out of here with that. These are fucking scam artists. This is what they do. It's so obvious, man. It's so obvious. So that's another 200 million. Well, or 200. What did we give him? 200 billion.
Way too much.
And this only said 100 million. Yeah, it's
but
more.
I mean,
it's more.
That's what they've come up with this round.
Yeah.
Never mind. I mean, we had the stories from 2-3 years ago where all of these Ukrainian billionaires and oligarchs were buying up fucking ski resorts in the Swiss Alps and stuff off of the money that was coming in. Like, this one is there are at least 2 legitimate responses to allegations that a group of highly placed Ukrainian officials have skimmed 100 million from contracts to repair and protect their nation's critical energy infrastructure, even as Russian attacks plunge the nation into darkness and cold. One is to despair, the other to celebrate. The second, strange as it may sound, is more logical. This episode goes to the heart of why Ukrainians are fighting at all. The war began in 2014 after then President Viktor Yanukovych was toppled by a mass protest against the epic scale of his corruption and the captivity to Moscow that this created. Like, this isn't new. This has been going on for decades. They're just and this is like high-ranking Ukrainian officials are stealing money that's supposed to be going to keeping the lights on for people. So all the people that are like, oh, I'll pay more for gas as long as this little girl gets to have her lights on. It's like, well, you
what about for that? Yeah. And they're at the same time, they're like, oh, fuck all these billionaires over here. It's like, you just bought that billionaire another yacht.
Yeah.
Over in Ukraine.
Yeah. You just bought him a ski resort in the Swiss Alps. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. Idiots. How does anybody not know how, at least how this game is played? It's just so obvious.
Especially this game in Ukraine, because we've got a solid 10 years that the United States has been really paying attention, but this would have been going on for 30 years before that or longer. Like, this stuff goes way back. It goes into the 70s and 80s when all of this Ukrainian corruption has really, I mean, even before that, but at the fall of the Soviet Union, basically as soon as the Soviet Union fell, Ukraine became corrupt. It was right out of the gate.
Yeah, it's like as soon as there's an opportunity, they're going to take it.
And exactly, and that's one of the big failings of communism is as soon as there's an opportunity, people are going to take it, and that system lends itself to those opportunities. And then when that system collapses, as it inevitably will, then that opens up even more opportunity, and then you see where the real sharks are.
Yeah. I don't know how many more examples we need of this. People, I don't know. I don't know what else. The evidence is just overwhelming that these are not there's no political solutions to this. You have to get them out of it, out of everything. And there's just, I don't remember them ever being, is there anything that allows the federal government to just send a bunch of taxpayer money to other countries?
See,
I don't remember that being one of their enumerated powers.
All of this is technically should be constitutionally illegal, but somehow they still are allowed to do it. We stopped tarring and feathering politicians, and that's what allowed anything to fly.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they're not even they're not even allowed to loan money. They're allowed to borrow, but they can't loan it out. And they've been doing that. Like everything they do is fucking illegal and it's messing up everything.
Right. And they create these legal loopholes for how it is that the government goes about loaning out money through the Fed and through, all of their subsidiary banks and stuff, which again goes to who's the number 2 lobby in Washington, D.C.? The fucking banks. Why? Because then the government just gives them the money so that they can loan out government money. And it's like the whole fucking thing is a giant Ponzi scheme. At every fucking level, it's some different degree of Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. And by the way, the other, top 10, whatever, it's 7 or something in DC. The other ones are in fucking New York, in and around New York, where all the banks are. It's like, how can people not see this? And then they get so angry at like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos or something. It's like, what are you talking about? How could you be mad at that and not upset about this? I'm going to see if I can find it because I did look it up at one point. Hang on. Bear with me here for just a second.
Well, I mean, like we had talked about last time, like Bezos and Elon and a lot of these other, billionaires, they actually provide services and things that people want and need. What are these? What are the rest of these that are, dining off of the government apparatus, just destroying everything? What are they providing? Not a fucking thing, but nobody's mad about that. Like, none of the people who want to tax the rich and hate all the billionaires, none of them are mad about that. Like,
yeah. Oh God, the government schools have just done such a good job of propagandizing people. So, top 10 richest counties by median household income. Number 1, Loudoun County, Virginia, 178,000. That's Washington, D.C. metro area. Number 2, Falls Church, Virginia, 178,000. Washington, D.C. metro. Number 3, Arlington County, Virginia, 140,000. Washington, D.C. metro. Then Fairfax, Virginia, 139,000. Washington, D.C. metro. Number 5 is Howard County, Maryland. Again, very close to it's in the Washington, D.C. Baltimore metro area, 139,000. Montgomery County, Maryland, 130,000. That's the top 6 right there. Number 7 is when you get into so now we're getting into the banking system. Jersey, 130,000. And then Morris County, also New Jersey, 129,000. That's number 8. Number 9, number 10. I think I'm probably in New York. The thing's cut off. I forgot. I just took a screenshot of it. But yeah, 6 of the top 10 are right there. And then the other ones are just banking. Oh no, one of them's like Silicon Valley. 1 out of the 10 is not related to government.
Crazy. Well, and with that, we were talking about the Coinbase thing. Like, there have been a lot of companies that were Silicon Valley based that have been leaving for Texas because Silicon Valley and California is such a tax hellhole and regulation nightmare that people are trying to get out of there so that they can actually maintain some of that.
Yep. It's what can you say? What can you say except that we're opening this fucking beast back up, so buckle up. They're gonna go right back to doing what they were fucking doing before.
Full steam ahead, baby.
With back pay. With back pay. Isn't that nice?
Oh, they threw a hemp ban in on that as well, if you weren't aware.
They threw a what?
Hemp ban.
Oh.
Which makes absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever. It's like,
yeah, can't use the byproduct of all that marijuana people are growing.
It's the dumbest fucking thing. And again, that is driven by more political bullshit and not actual legitimate reasoning for this stuff. It's like,
yeah,
it's insane.
Yep, you got it, dude. You have to abolish it. It's the only way. And until we get to that point, I mean, can we just start actually cutting it back a little bit, just try it. If you thought this shutdown wasn't that bad, maybe let's just try eliminate find one department that we could eliminate. There's hundreds of them. You think we can do without one?
You would think.
Yeah, but no, of course not. No, the sky will fall. Speaking of, wasn't there supposed to be some, what's today's Wednesday? Is there some like solar flares or something happening today?
Aurora Borealis was last night.
Oh, did you see it?
No.
Were you able to see the northern lights or something from there?
I didn't even look after getting up early yesterday and hunting and then making the drive back home, picking Katie up from school. And I had to go to the lawyer's office and sign some paperwork and stuff yesterday afternoon. And by the time I got home, I didn't really feel like standing outside in 20-degree weather, staring at the sky.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it's cold over there now.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that it's cold over there now. All right. Well, it's going to be a long, cold winter of death and despair or something, right?
That's what Biden said. Just apply that every winter.
Yeah. We did have the Epstein file drop that I wanted to get to, but we're kind of running out of time.
We can do that on Friday. That's some.
Yeah, it's good Friday.
Epstein files are good Friday fare.
That is true.
And it's not like they're going to actually drop between now and then. So.
No, these were emails that got leaked. These are Epstein emails to Ghislaine Maxwell that referenced Trump. And I'm sure the Trump haters will take that as, oh yeah, he's a pedophile. And then when you actually look into who the emails are referencing, it's far more likely that it backs Donald Trump's story that he didn't want this fucking pedophile operating in Mar-a-Lago. But we'll look into that over the next couple of days and talk about it on Friday. Probably got some shithole Chicago stuff, of course. I mean, it literally could be its own podcast if I wanted to.
just do like a once a week show of shithole Chicago. Do it on like Monday afternoon once you get all the crime statistics for the weekend.
Yeah. 140 people shot this weekend. So yeah, you got anything else going? We're doing a Friday show, right? Regularly scheduled.
Yeah, that should be good for Friday.
All right. Can you go earlier?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, we'll talk about that. But yeah, I might want to do like a morning episode Friday.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm a visitor, so we'll get that out to the people nice and early, and enjoy this government shutdown while it lasts. We only got a few more hours, I think, unfortunately, and then we just get to pay everybody for a month and a half vacation. So ridiculous.
I would say I wish I could get paid for a month and a half of being off, but I did get paid for a month of being off last year, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh God. If I could just actually, one thing we could change right now is not have the withdrawal. I want people to have to stroke a check to the goddamn government like I do now. I don't want it just deducted from your paycheck before it even hits your account. I want you to feel the pain of what this fucking horse shit is costing us. Because, yeah, see if we get that stimmy check. I wonder how they're going to do it. I don't know if they'll actually give everybody $2,000. Maybe they'll do like a tax credit thing or something. I don't know. The whole thing's retarded, but yeah, it's like they'll give me that stimulus check and then I'll just have to give that right back to them and then some for the privilege of, I don't know, risking my own money in the marketplace. Apparently, yeah. It's even more ridiculous because, like, I'm not even in the goddamn country. I'm not using your fucking schools. I'm not using your roads. I'm not using your police and fire. I'm not using any of it. I have that number that they assigned me at birth so that they can just fucking turn me upside down and shake me for every fucking nickel I have every once a year for the rest of my life. Motherfuckers. All right. Anyway, we'll be back on Friday with a brand new episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. Until then, you know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.